What's up everyone, my name is Fast, and today I'm going to be going over 5 potential builds that you could dive into when we start playing Starfield here in a little over a month. So I'll be taking a deeper look into all the different skills that we've seen so far from Starfield and which ones we could combine to make some pretty cool builds for the game. So to kind of summarize things really quickly, there are 82 total different skills in the game and 5 different categories of skills, that being physical, social, combat, science, and tech. And within each category, there are 4 tiers, that being novice, advanced, expert, and master. And you have to get a certain amount of skills in each tier to be able to progress to the next one. And then of course, with each skill, there are 4 different tiers for each individual skill as well. Once you obtain a skill point, you can use that to achieve rank 1 of that skill. And then you must complete 3 gameplay challenges to progress that skill to rank 4. So that was just a quick summary on skills. Now let's get into the builds. So obviously, there are a ton of different builds that you can do in Starfield with all these different skills, but I'm just going over the top 5 that immediately came to my head when I was going through all these different skills. If you come up with your own builds or have any other cool ideas, please let me know down in the comment section below. And of course, with each one of these builds, I'm just going to be going over the main skills needed for the build itself. And of course, it's flexible. There's skills we can add, take away. It's up to your opinion. But again, these are just the ones that stood out to me immediately. So for build number 1, we have a hand-to-hand combat or a martial arts style build. I'll go over each individual skill here in a second, but the 4 main individual skills that you will need for this build are wellness, martial arts, neuro strikes, and intimidation. So for any melee build, but especially a martial arts hand-to-hand combat type build, this wellness skill is absolutely key. This skill increases the total health points for your player, and you can see here just with the first rank alone, it immediately gives you a 30-point boost to your total health. So obviously this skill is huge. And then of course, next for the martial arts build, you need the martial arts skill. We do not have all the information for this skill yet, but we do know that it will increase your unarmed damage bonuses by some degree. So this one will definitely be another huge one for this build. And next we have the neurostrike skill. This is a master skill, so it's one of the final ones that you'd be obtaining, but basically when you get it, you'll be able to essentially one-punch a lot of enemies. If not one-punch, then do a significant amount of damage on your melee attacks. So this is another big one here. Finally, we have the intimidation skill. Now, we do have a lot of information on this skill, and I think it would just fit perfectly with the martial arts build. I think it would be absolutely hilarious if as soon as you rolled up to a combat encounter, you could literally just intimidate a bunch of the enemies, and then a bunch of them will completely flee from the combat. And then, of course, once you start one-punching a bunch of enemies, I think it would fit perfectly. So with the skills that we know of so far, those are the 4 key skills that I could point out for the martial arts build. Of course, there will definitely be some different skills that we could use for this build as well. For example, up here in the top left corner of the physical tree, there seems to be some sort of melee skill that looks very similar to the martial arts skill. I'm sure this is just a base skill that increases your melee damage. Yeah, there's definitely some other skills that could go with this build, but those are just the best we know of so far. Second build we're going to be going with here is the stealth / assassin build. And for this stealth build, the 5 main skills that we're going to be going over are obviously stealth, concealment, dueling, pistol certification, and security. So like I said, obviously for the stealth build, you'll need this stealth skill. And what this stealth skill does is that it gives you a bonus of damage when you are undetected. So getting all those stealth kills, doing that damage in stealth behind cover, obviously will be your main skill, giving you that bonus of damage when you are undetected. This concealment skill is also crucial. This skill makes it harder for you to be detected. And I also think it'll help you remain undetected even while you're walking as well. So this master skill is definitely a big one for the stealth build. Then for this next trait here, we have dueling. This trait gives you a damage boost for all of your melee weapons. I just think this one is a very easy one to do with your stealth build because you're going to be getting a lot of melee kills anyway while you are silently taking out enemies from behind. So this one will definitely help you with all of those stealth melee kills that you are getting while you are still undetected. Next here, we have pistol certification. Technically, you could do any weapon that you want for your stealth build, but I just think a pistol would be the best option here because in my opinion, that is definitely the go-to weapon for a stealth build. Get yourself a pistol with a nice suppressor on it, and that is the definition of stealth. So you get this pistol certification skill, and it'll help you increase your damage with all of your stealth pistol kills. And last but certainly not least here, we have the security skill. Of course, while you are doing all of your sneaking with your stealth build, you're gonna need this security skill to be able to hack doors that you might need to go through in order to stay stealthy or in order to get some loot that you're sneaking in there for. So this skill obviously makes your lockpicking much better the more you rank it up. So definitely a big one here. For a bonus 6 one, literally almost forgot this, but I'm glad I caught it. The theft skill. This is pretty obvious, but if you are stealthy and you want to pickpocket people, steal items close to people's vicinity, this is definitely the skill you will need. So definitely an important 6 skill right there for this stealth build. So that's everything for the stealth build. For this third build, I call it the mind control build. This mind control build essentially combines some of the best social skills to allow you to get out of combat interactions, manipulate, and almost essentially control enemy NPCs. So the 5 main skills that you'll need for this build are persuasion, diplomacy, intimidation, instigator, and then this master skill called puppet or something, puppeteer, puppet master, something to do with puppet. We don't actually know the name of this skill yet, but I can assume what it will be. So for this persuasion skill, obviously this one could definitely help you get your way when it comes to dialogue encounters. We've already seen in some gameplay that's been shown so far, you can talk your way out of potential combat encounters through these different dialogue interactions. And this persuasion skill essentially can help you talk your way out of situations. Then next we have the diplomacy skill. This skill allows you to compel a hostile NPC at or below your level to stop fighting for a certain amount of time. This skill is pretty funny because you can literally get a hostile NPC to just stop fighting completely. So it's pretty clear why this one's a big one for this mind control build. And then we have the intimidation skill. This skill is very similar to the last one. We've already gone over this one. This is another big one for this mind control build. We don't have a ton of information on what this instigation skill is yet, but we do know that you can force an enemy NPC to attack their allies for a certain amount of time. So you can kind of see the pattern that we're going for here. These are all different mind games that you can play with your enemies in combat to essentially not have to fight them at all. So this is another big one here. And then this final master trait that goes with this build, again, I'm not 100% sure on what it actually is. However, we can infer if it is a puppet type skill that you will be able to control enemies in some sort of way. So not exactly sure what this puppet skill is, but I guarantee it will end up being key for this build. So that was our mind control build. And with our fourth build here, we have the ranger build. If you're looking for a cowboy and that Wild West theme, then this is the build for you. So skills that go with this build are ballistics, pistol certification, rifle certification, marksmanship, rapid reloading, targeting, and then this final master trait here that has to do with aim. So here's ballistics, and I absolutely love this patch logo that they chose to go with this skill. This skill basically increases your damage on all ballistic weapons. So anything that fires a normal bullet, you're going to get more damage with it. Pretty straightforward and very crucial for this build. For a cowboy, you're definitely going to need to have your pistols, your revolvers. So here's the pistol certification skill that we went over earlier. The rifle certification skill is essentially the exact same thing as the pistol certification skill. Gives you more damage with your rifles. We don't have the exact definition for the marksmanship skill yet, but I'm assuming that it will give you a damage boost when you are aiming down sights, because it is very similar to the targeting skill that we'll go over in a second. Rapid reloading skill gives you an increased chance of reloading a weapon faster than usual. We don't know how high this chance is of reloading your weapon quicker, but still helps very much in combat. And then the targeting skill that I talked about a second ago. This skill increases your accuracy in range when you are hip firing. This skill would go perfectly for your revolvers and such that you'd be using with your cowboy build. And then finally, there's this master skill, which we do not know what this one does yet either. However, based off of the picture, we can assume that it will give you some sort of boost to headshots or aim down sight shots, something to do with precision and giving you a boost for that, which would go perfect with your rifles. So those were all the essential skills that you need for a ranger or a cowboy type build in Starfield. Again, there's more that you can add or remove there, but those are just the ones that stood out to me. With our fifth and final build of this video, we have the engineer build. Call it engineer, you could sort of call it scientist, whatever. To me, it mixes some of the big skills from the science tree and the tech tree. So this engineer build consists of astrodynamics, chemistry, outpost engineering, payloads, starship design, and starship engineering. Obviously, there's way more that you could go with here with this build, but these are kind of the ones that just caught my eye at first. So this astrodynamic skill essentially allows you to get more out of your ship's grav drive, allowing you to jump to farther systems than you would normally be able to. As an engineer, this is obviously a big one, allowing you to travel to farther systems than you could originally. The next is this chemistry skill. This one allows you to create improved chems and research additional chems at your research lab. We're not exactly sure what the Outpost Engineering skill does. However, we can assume that it will allow you to unlock more modules for your base builds. And while I'm thinking about it, there is also this Outpost Management skill that I believe boosts the efficiency of your companions that are working in your outposts. However, I'm not 100% sure on that. Then the payload skill essentially allows you to maximize your cargo space in your starship, allowing you to travel with more items in your starship, carrying them from one location to the next. And then with Starship Design and Starship Engineer, we don't have a description on what these two traits are yet, but we can assume that they will both unlock and give more efficiency to your starship than you would be able to do normally. So when it comes to modifications, optimizations, and additions to your starship, these two traits will probably be very key. So I wanted to highlight these skills for this engineer build. And that was 5 potential builds for Starfield. Let me know if you guys have any other build ideas down below in the comments. Let me know if you guys are excited for Starfield when it drops here in a little over a month. Let me know if you guys want to see some more videos like this in the future of me breaking down some potential builds for the game. Let me know what you guys plan to play as. And if you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope everyone has a good one.